Hey everyone. So in this video I want to talk about how the eating disorder can so often play tricks on us and how it can make itself seem bigger and more important and scarier than it actually is. When I had anorexia, I certainly saw the eating disorder as this kind of big monster almost. It was bigger than me, it was stronger than me, it was certainly louder than me, and it would threaten me all the time. It would tell me to do things and would convince me that the consequences of not doing that thing were so terrifying that I would kind of give in and follow it. It really didn't feel like I had a choice. And it was really scary. And like I said, it didn't even occur to me that I could sort of disobey that noise in my head. If you've watched some of our videos previously, you'll have heard us say things like, or about how our thoughts are they're all equal and they're all neutral and they're all made of the same stuff, no matter what they might be about. And it's only until we add meaning to them or that we interpret them in a certain way that they kind of take on more power than others. And I didn't know this when I had my eating disorder, and I didn't really know it until relatively recently. And the reason that that's important is because when we think about this, the eating disorder as this big, scary thing, it kind of shrinks it back down to size. It's like, what if all of our thoughts were all the same size? The thought about, oh, it's a beautiful day today, that's this size. And then another one about, oh, I need to go to the shops. That's also that size. And then the eating disorder thought that comes along, that's also that size. And yet it becomes so much bigger. It becomes so much bigger because, certainly from my experience, it seemed more important. It seemed more urgent. It seemed like I really needed to take it seriously. So it would balloon from being this size, the size of a regular thought, if thoughts were an actual kind of physical thing, and it would turn into this gigantic monster, like I said. But what if we started to shrink that back down to size? Now, I don't know whether you have watched the Disney film Mulan. I haven't watched it in a very long time, but there is a really great character in there called Mushu, who is a little red dragon. However, when Mulan first meets Mushu, he looks like, oop, he looks like this. He is this big, scary monster surrounded by fire with a loud voice, and it's really scary. And Mulan is terrified, as is her horse, I think. And so as that scene goes on, Mushu comes out. He's been hiding behind this rock and kind of projecting this giant shadow onto the wall to terrify anyone who goes past. But then he accidentally walks out from behind the rock and he looks like this. That's him there. He's this tiny little lizard of sorts, not terrifying at all. And he's been using this trick of the lights to make himself seem so much scarier and more important and powerful than he actually is. This is also a picture of him. not very scary at all. And the reason why I wanted to share that was because it really made me think of the eating disorder and how it really tries to make itself seem more important than it actually is, or more scary than it actually is. And it kind of pulls all of those tricks, making it seem urgent and important, and kind of saying all the things that it knows will scare us. But what if actually it's Mushu? What if it's actually this little thing that's hiding behind a rock and is projecting itself onto this, almost like the screen of our mind, to try and make itself seem more important and more scary than it actually is? And I wonder what difference that makes, kind of shrinking it back down to size, down to the size of the other thoughts that we have that are unrelated to the eating disorder. Thinking back to when I had anorexia, I think that would have been quite powerful, because it's really that kind of that fear that I had that dominated everything, and that I guess drove my behavior, my eating disorder behaviors. So, like I say, kind of shrinking that back down to size and starting to kind of play with, okay, well, actually, how could this look different? Is this actually almost a trick of the light that the eating disorder is playing with, to try and make it seem more scary, more powerful, more important than it actually is? And if we do that, I wonder, maybe something to reflect on is, what impact does that then have? How does changing the eating disorder's shape and size then change your relationship with it, and how you listen to it, and how you act on it or not? And so I'd just love you to reflect on that, and just see if there's anything in that metaphor with Mushu that kind of rings true for you. And feel free to leave any thoughts, reflections in the comments below, and we'll see you in the next video.